And today, September 9th, marks the 77th anniversary of North Korea's founding after the regime was established in 1948. And this morning, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un oversaw the test of a missile engine developed by the regime, as we just heard, that could be used in long-range missiles. For more on this, we're joined by Professor Christophe Gaudin, Professor of Political Science at Kookmin University. Professor Gaudin, thanks for coming in today.
Good morning.
So this solid fuel missile engine is something that could be used in ICBMs, right? North Korean state media claim this was a major leap in strengthening its nuclear forces. What are your thoughts on this?
It's always difficult to assess North Korean nuclear capacities because the only documents we have are, as you say, provided by North Korea themselves. What we can say from the military experts I've been able to read this morning is that, of course, this missile represents an improvement based on the previous launch that took place in December 2022, but no technological leap. If you like, it is an improvement. It is a bigger, more efficient version of what existed before. What I think to be more interesting here is that, you see, if it was solely about improving North Korean nuclear capacities, this test would have been conducted secretly. Now we have Kim Jong-un attending the test and pictures, videos that you have broadcast being then shown all over the world. So what I think to be interesting here is it's not simply about North Korean nuclear capacities. It is about North Korea wanting these nuclear capacities to be known all over the world. It is about North Korea taking a more aggressive stance politically.
I see. And marking the 77th anniversary of its founding today, China's Xi Jinping also sent a congratulatory message to North Korea's Kim Jong-un. We recently saw leaders of North Korea, China, Russia get together for the first time in decades in Beijing last week. What's your take on their trilateral cooperation, and will South Korea, the United States, and Japan try to further strengthen ties against that bloc in response?
So precisely, this nuclear test is to be understood within this context. In fact, what is North Korea today in international relations? North Korea is a sort of scarecrow, is a sort of watchdog that China and Russia are using anytime they're unhappy with the West, to scare the West and, of course, their allies, including North Korea and Japan, away. So now we've got Russia, who's unhappy about the West giving some military support to Ukraine. What we've got is China, extremely unhappy about Trump's tariffs. And as a result, they're using, so as I say, North Korea as a sort of scarecrow then to scare Western powers away. Hence this nuclear test that just took place. So now, of course, the problem for South Korea is that South Korea is carried away and forced to play this game that is a very dangerous game from the South Korean point of view. There will be a need for the West and Western allies, South Korea, Japan, etc., to stick together. But of course, it's very difficult because of Donald Trump himself. For the West to stick together, there will be a need the West to be the US to be willing to cooperate. And as you know, it is not the case today, unfortunately.
I see. And we saw North Korea's Kim Jong-un appearing on the global stage for the first time last week. And it's also now getting ready to send a vice ministerial level official to New York for the UN General Assembly for the first time in 7 years, I believe. What are your thoughts on this development?
Well, in this context represents a huge opportunity for North Korea. For decades now, basically, nobody was willing to cooperate with North Korea. Even China was somehow relegating North Korea to the background. Now, what we have is China and Russia taking, as I said, a more aggressive stance to push for their interests. Kim Jong-un knows that. And so Kim Jong-un is seizing this opportunity to get back into usual official diplomatic channels. And so what all of this means is that Kim Jong-un is trying to take advantage of the current state of affairs to look, how should I put it, to look dependable, to look normal again. Hence, so he's sending, as you said, high-level official to the United Nations in New York.
I see, right. And as for South Korea and the Japanese defense ministers met in Seoul yesterday, and this marks the first official visit by a Japanese defense minister to Seoul in a decade. What's your take on the two countries' security cooperation?
It's very simple. On the one hand, it's needed because the US for now cannot be trusted as much as they used to be a few years ago. So there is a need for a stronger cooperation between Korea and Japan. The problem in this is Japan. First, because Japan, as you know, does not really have any valuable, any meaningful military forces. Since World War II, Japan has been banned from having a real army, and I'm not sure the South Korean public opinion would like Japan to have a large army again. And second, the other issue you have, as you know, is the political instability in Japan. The Prime Minister has just quit. This political crisis in Japan, for now, we cannot know when it's going to end. And of course, it is difficult for Japan to sign new cooperation agreements and the like without a stable government. So long story short, this cooperation is needed, but for now, Japan is in no position to fulfill the basic requirements for this alliance to mean anything and anything efficient or meaningful, unfortunately.
I see. All right, Professor Gaudin, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for your insight as always.
Thanks for having me.